All right, this is likely to be sloppy, but the purpose of this is I keep thinking that you San Francisco writers are confused, and it's just that you don't know. But then enter in the Pharaoh Musk, and it became all more confusing. So what was basically happening is I was going through my timeline, as you can see there. I saw the Instagram account Ain't Shit show up under Bay Area Graffiti a couple times. I ended up liking a few of the posts, and then I kept thinking to myself, I wonder if that's odd. Main reason being because I have just recently been called a toy by this person, Widow the Clown, and this other person, KRK, who have called me a toy, and seem to have some issues with me just being me, apparently, because I don't know exactly why they would think it's appropriate to call me a toy. Anyway, so, I'm wondering, like, yo, it's kind of, it's weird. I don't know if that particular person would think it's weird for me to be liking those posts of theirs, because at that point, because they showed up on my timeline, a few of them in a row, now I've liked a lot of their posts, but also I'm not following their account, so I think that's perfectly appropriate. But I'm also wondering if anybody else thinks it's not appropriate, what's going on. Anyway, that's what's going on in my head, right? Then I'm scrolling through, and I also follow the hashtag Dadaism, and I see Duster NYC posted under there a photo of his from 1982. Now, also, let's not skip over this. 1982 is, what is that, 3 years before the first time that I first wrote graffiti on the New York City subway system, because I did so almost immediately after seeing this movie. I know it sounds weird, but I was living in New York with people like, Duster, that was doing what they were doing on the trains, and I never even fucking thought of doing it until I saw that movie. And so that should kind of give you an idea of a time span, right? So in any way, I guess the point being is, as far as me and Duster, I've written many times about the fact that I believe and know graffiti to be Dadaism. In other words, part of the Dada movement of art movements, as well as being, part of graffiti in its own sense of its own art movement. So obviously, me and this old school writer, however you want to call it, a foundational person who was writing graffiti around the same time that I was, although I was very much just a child, and that person had already kind of started their career and was much further into it. But me and him had the same mindset. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's me posting anything under graffiti is Dadaism, period, right? So to me, I still don't understand why. See, that's my hashtag, Soñando con Graffiti. As you see, I can see I have 2,000 more, about 2 to 3,000 photos of graffiti, all done in San Francisco. Now, I don't know why this may be confusing, but this is not graffiti that I've done. This is graffiti that I've taken pictures of. The reason I use the graffiti hashtag is because it's graffiti that I've taken pictures of. I myself am a graffiti writer as well, but the purpose of this account is not to focus on myself as a graffiti writer, but more so graffiti in general. Somehow or another, that got translated into me trying to be out here as a graffiti writer, which makes no sense. Like, again, these two people, Widow the Clown and KRK, have called me a toy recently off of what I've posted on Instagram, because there's no graffiti of me out there. In other words, I'm not, this is the only graffiti that you can see on there. I haven't done it. I guess you could call me a toy for taking pictures of it. But then, again, that's kind of a weird thing to do, considering that post by Duster right now, who the Pharaoh Musk also follows, one of the reasons it's posted in his caption is said is because someone took a photo of it. Not that he took a photo of it, but because Martha Cooper took a photo of that particular piece of graffiti he did. One of the reasons of my account as well is because I have never taken photos of my own graffiti. One of the reasons I haven't taken photos of my own graffiti is because I am more from the era, like Duster, in which other people took photos of your graffiti, not you took photos of your graffiti. And that's also to kind of recap, one of the reasons my account exists even to this day is because someone did take a photo of graffiti I did, that I had never taken a photo of, and posted it online, and I saw it under the hashtag #SFGraffiti. Also one of the reasons why I use that hashtag. So yeah, just kind of, I guess, just go over that real quick because I don't know what's been going on in San Francisco. I just like, with the San Francisco graffiti writing scene, and their beliefs and thoughts that it's appropriate to approach me as a graffiti writer in that sense. Like, if you look at Duster's account, even, like, you know, he's obviously still active. He's doing things. He's in the gallery world and things like that. But it, you know, it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate to call him a toy because he's not. I mean, why would you? Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, why? Because he's not out there actively doing graffiti right now. Well, number one, you don't know that one way or the other. Number two, why are you putting him on that same level? It's kind of the same with me, where I'm not saying, obviously, as far as graffiti goes, me writing graffiti, definitely I have not accomplished what Duster has accomplished. All I'm saying, though, is that I am definitely from the same mindset from that era. I have made that clear. There's people like the Pharaoh Musk who, you know, is following him. At some point in time, I think he followed me as well, but maybe not. But either way, I know that he shouldn't, you know, throughout the years, there's been interactions online. And yet, one of the main things that has happened is people seem to be offended or weirded out that I've used the hashtag graffiti. No one on this particular post is saying anything about the fact that Duster has used the hashtag Dadaism, which would also, some people would say, be inappropriate. I definitely fucking wouldn't. Obviously, like I said, I've have many posts saying that's absolutely really appropriate. But I guess what it comes down to, as a graffiti writer, I never would have thought that if somebody saw one of my posts under the hashtag graffiti, and let's see if I could just pull up a random post, like this post. This post I know has nothing directly you could think about graffiti, but it does, because if you click on it and then you click on my account, you could end up seeing graffiti. If you don't, you don't. I could understand a lot of other people in the general public kind of not understanding that concept or thinking that's weird or like whatever, because that is Dadaism. It's, you know, without explaining everything any further, it is very similar to whatever reason anyone has for writing a tag on anywhere, or doing a piece on anywhere, or doing a throw up on anywhere, or knowing the differences between any of those. You know what I mean? Like, it's the exact same thing. Like, it's as simple as complicated. What is odd is that for some reason graffiti writers have been online, at the very least, the San Francisco graffiti writers have literally judged me for doing exactly what Duster has just done, which is basically post a photo of graffiti under the hashtag Dadaism, which may or may not be, you know, I guess appropriate. And instead of, you know, no one said to him it's not appropriate. No one's even said to me it's not appropriate. But what people have done is they've taken that act alone, and seemingly made it as intended as I'm a graffiti writer in San Francisco trying to be like, yo, I'm a graffiti writer in San Francisco. Look at me as a graffiti writer in San Francisco. When the reality is, the whole facts of it are, I am a graffiti writer from New York who lives in San Francisco, who started taking photos of graffiti in San Francisco that he believes nobody else has taken photos of, because of the fact that me, has not taken many photos of my own graffiti. It's my own kind of little Dadaism art kind of thing. So anyway, wanted to keep it under 10 minutes. There you go. Just maybe I'll do another one. Maybe I won't.